Hello, I'm Nicole and I'm going to be continuing our Woven Dailies today. We're reading from Act 17, verses 16 to 20, so grab a Bible and read along, or just sit back and listen whilst I read and share a couple of thoughts. Now, while Paul was waiting for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked within him as he saw that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. Some of the Epicurean and Stoic philosophers also conversed with him. And some said, "What does this babbler wish to say?" Others said, "He seems to be a preacher of foreign divinities," because he was preaching of Jesus and the resurrection. And they took him and brought him to the Areopagus, saying, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? For you bring some strange things to our ears. We wish to know, therefore, what these things mean." Now, I'm just going to clarify a few of those words that may be a bit interesting to you. I have to say I hadn't heard of them until I looked into them a little bit more in this passage. So I'm going to share. But the Epicurean and Stoic philosophy. So Epicurean philosophy was the belief that we're on this life for pleasure, and pleasure is the main aim that we have of this life, and not bodily pleasure, so not lust or gluttony, but mental pleasure, so a state of peace and harmony, completely devoid of pain or suffering. They were atheists, didn't believe in God at all, and did not believe that there is a life after death. Once we die, we die. And Stoic philosophy is the belief that humans use their own rationale more and use logic to get through the hard things that are thrown at them in life. They also do not believe in God. They're a bit more apathetic, and that once they're on this life to live a good life, but at the end, that's it. There's nothing else there. So those are two philosophies that are completely in contrast to what Paul is teaching about Jesus and the resurrection, and that we have more to live for. Now, the first thing that jumps out to me here is Paul's blood boiling at how many idols there were in Athens. And there were in Athens, according to one source, about 30,000 idols. There were more idols in Athens than there were in the rest of Greece. There's a joke made that you can find a statue more in Athens than you could find a man. So there was tons and tons and tons of statues. And who were being idolised but philosophers and artists and gods. So many false gods. And these weren't just statues. We see them now as beautiful art. There are still some around. But they were being worshipped, these statues and idols in Athens. So you can see why Paul may have been getting a little bit cross. But I find it incredibly interesting that the Athenians did this, that they had so many idols that they worshipped, and particularly worshipping this sense of philosophy and of free thinking and of questioning life. And for me, that just shows that they were so hungry for something more. They had this capacity to know God, yet looked for it in so many different ways. And I think that really resonates with society at the moment. We can see that over lockdown, the statistics of people who are seeking prayer and seeking church has gone up so much. People doing online alpha, there are hundreds and hundreds of people who have tried alpha online over lockdown. And we as society are looking for something bigger. We know that this isn't it. I think this pandemic has been quite a shock to a lot of us of how fragile life can be, and that there is so much more to it. And what part are we playing in sharing the good news of God and sharing the good news of Jesus coming back to life, and there being so much more for us? And I find that incredibly interesting. And also, what are the idols that we have in our lives? Perhaps we're a little bit like the Athenians and the ancient Greeks, and we idolise philosophy and theological intelligence. Maybe we need to think we have more debates, so we need to know more, read more. Or maybe we idolize the latest fad, something that's going to promise to change our lives. It is simple. It all comes down to one thing, and that is relationship with God. Yes, sometimes debating is useful, and it can help us to strengthen and grow our understanding of God's nature and who he is, and that's not bad. It's just, where do we place these things in our lives? The way to share who God is by knowing him ourselves. It's hard to try and get someone to love someone else when you don't know them yourselves. And that is the most important thing that I want to draw out of this passage, is where are our idols? How are we showing others about God's life? And just to know that it is about relationship over knowledge all the time. So that's simple, but I hope it's useful. I know for me it's incredibly challenging to think about these things. And so I just want to give you that. Take it on your day. Have a lovely day. Bye.